to the Patriot Come Lately show. This is Stefan, your Patriot Come Lately, the voice of the Second American Revolution. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whenever or wherever you are listening. As someone who came to America to escape from the socialist nightmare, I am using this show to shake America awake. Join me in the next hour for constitutional conservative news and views, as well as the occasional guest. We have to rebuild that shining city on the hill by taking this great country back to the principles set forth by the founders.
And good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whenever you're listening to the show. This is Stefan, your Patriot Come Lately, welcoming you to episode 296 of Patriot Come Lately Talk Radio. I'm very pleased to be here. Yes, 296, getting close to that big 300 number. Never thought I'd make that, but here I am. And did mention a while back, please email me or leave me a note in the chat room if you're listening live. Let me know whether you think I should continue on after the 300. I do need some support from my listeners. And as ever, I will remind you, please share this site, this show, The Times, with your friends if they can't listen at this time of the evening. Wherever you are, remember you can pick up the show, the recordings 24/7 at this same place. You can also go to archives.patriotcomelately.us, or you can listen to Red State Talk Radio or the 405 Media, two networks that broadcast a lot of very good conservative and constitutional and libertarian talk show hosts. Plenty of good information coming through those shows. Show tonight, coming to you again from the Patrick Come Lately home studio. Yes, I'm back in Georgia. We'll be back up in New England next week. Hopefully not letting any of their liberalism rub off on me. It's yes, last week I was up there, and then the day after we had that horrific attack in California, and I just have to handle some of it. You know, normally I try and avoid the very kind of current things to discuss because all the talking heads are doing it. But there are some things that I want to say, my analysis of some things, and some of the things that I would expect from different people, here is an opportunity to do something good, and it's not happening, and it's very disappointing. But anyway, before I do that, a while back I had a guest on this show, Gail, who is running a website called propositionusa.com. And she's ratcheting it up for in the coming month, in the month of January. So please go to her website, propositionusa.com, and read there. One of the things that she has been spearheading is waving a flag at 5 p.m. wherever you are, and trying to get people all around America doing that, which I think is a great thing. Let's show our patriotism and see what we can do there. So that is propositionusa.com. Gail Whitwright, head over there, take a look, and thanks for contacting me, Gail. I hope this helps get some people to your site. Just a moment, folks. Sorry about that. A little bit of a frog in my throat, a little bit of a cough. Number of different topics tonight, as I said, and all of them do, at the end of the line, come back to to what happened in California, or most of them do, maybe not all of them, but most of them have some connection, sometimes tenuous, but have some connection to what happened in California. And before we talk about it, about the other topics, do want to talk about this, express my condolences to the people involved, the families involved that lost family members, had injured family members, and just the psychological injury of being in that room when these thugs came in. And think about it, folks. What is frightening about it? There's a number of things frightening about it. First of all, a woman was involved with this. Just 2 weeks ago, King Barry was being very denigrating about the GOP, saying with their attempt to stop Syrian refugees coming in, what's the matter with the GOP? Are they afraid of widows and orphans? Well, maybe she wasn't a widow, this woman, but she was a woman, and that is very frightening. Now, we've seen it in the Middle East, but folks, Daesh has come to us, has come to America. And that just a few days after he promised us that nothing like Paris would happen here in America. How can this guy be wrong so often and yet still enjoy the power that he does? I mean, it is absolutely unbelievable. But frightening in another way, because Khalif Hussein very calmly told us that we have to take these Syrian refugees because they've all been very clearly vetted. Yeah, just like this woman was. She came in on a K-1 visa. It's called a fiancé visa. That is also supposed to be very closely vetted and should have been, given her background, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. I mean, if that doesn't set off alarm bells, I don't know what does. So he tells us, oh yeah, we're going to vet them the Syrian refugees very closely, but don't we vet other people? This woman was supposed to have been vetted, and look at that. So what faith can we have in his utterances about vetting the Syrian refugees? Basically, zilch, zero, nada. And so, folks, get in touch with your legislators. Give them that message. Tell them and say, hey, it's not that we're anti-Syrian. It's not even that we're anti-Muslim. It's just that we don't know what these people are, what they might do. And if they bring in 1,000, even if there's only 1% that are bad, 1% out of that 1,000, that's 10 bad guys coming into the country. If we have 10,000, that's 100. If we have 100,000, you say, oh, no, they've said it's only going to be 10,000 and maybe 30,000 next year. I've already heard numbers going up to 60,000, 150,000, 200,000. I don't know what this regime is up to. I really don't understand why they have this, I would almost call it love affair, this passion to bring in Muslims when we know, number one, we have a likelihood to bring in bad guys, but number two, a lot of the people coming in don't share our values. This country was great because of, this country grew great because of people coming in, assimilating and contributing to the country. Most of the recent imports don't assimilate, and especially the Muslims. Look at Dearbornistan, look at Minneapolis. They live in enclaves. They want to live their own lives. Well, if they want to live like that, go back to the Middle East where it is just like that. Don't come here and try and bring the Middle East here. You're supposed to be escaping from oppression, and you're supposed to assimilate. Remember, America is a melting pot. It's not a lot of little pools, a lot of little pots. No, it's one big melting pot. And yes, we're open to immigration, but immigrants who are prepared to contribute and to participate and to assimilate. And they're not doing that. And you can say what you like. Is that anti-Muslim rhetoric? No, I'd say the same about any group that does that. And there are a few other minorities that do that. But right now, the Muslims are the ones that really keep the most to themselves. And I think that it's unfortunate because there are, we'll always say there are good Muslims. There are a lot of good Muslims. But do we hear their voice? No. Remember what I said last week in agreeing with Piers Morgan, and he said the same thing. Why do they not stand up? Well, I'm going to talk about leadership because I think there's some things that King Barry could get up to. But first of all, let's talk about, in connection with this, the firestorm that Trump managed to stir up by saying that he wanted to stop all immigration by Muslims for a while. Now, of course, what he said was very much cut up, and the worst parts projected and trumpeted from the rooftops by the regressives. But, at the end of the line, Trump found a way to get hours of free broadcast time, while the other candidates only get minutes. The guy is a master at the game. I don't understand why people can't see. Yes, he can be bombastic. Yes, sometimes he utters things you'll say, oh, did you really say that? But at the end of the line, he gets things done. He gets the publicity he wants. We see it with his other jobs. I mean, he's able to deal. He's getting all this free publicity. He's not spending anywhere near what all the other candidates are doing. And where are the other candidates getting that money from? They're getting it from donors. And if somebody gives you money, what does that donor expect in return? Yeah, there are a few altruistic ones out there. Just say, here, I think you're a good guy. Here's some money. Go get elected. But most of them say, no, here's some money. And now when I come along in half a year's time and I need a law, I need this, I need that. Of course, they want to have that. Anyway, so the regressives and the lying state medium, the LSM, did not really listen to what he said, but they took what they didn't like, amplified it over and over again, with the result that Donald was invited for interviews across all the major networks and just getting more and more free publicity. I think the issue is that Trump addresses the problem like he does a business problem. And he doesn't bother with the political correctness crap. He sees a problem, he thinks up a solution, and he trumpets it. He goes straight to the obvious solution. And the obvious solution is, if we don't know who's coming in, just stop everybody until we know, because otherwise we're going to be opening our doors to bad guys. And we can say, oh, but that, these poor people, they need to come in. No, they don't need to come in. There is no constitutional right for them to come in. It is the goodness of our heart. And if they're going to come in and start killing Americans, why let them in? So if you look closely at what he said, yes, we have to stop until we know a good way to be able to filter out the good from the bad. He didn't say stop all Muslims forever. He just said we know that Muslims are involved in terrorism. So it's unfortunate for the good Muslims, and I'm kind of making his words a little softer, but it's unfortunate for the good Muslims, but they are being tarred with the same brush by the bad Muslims. And because we can't tell them apart, we have to stop until we can find a way to tell them apart. And part of that is their own fault. because the good Muslims don't stand up and denounce them. Now, I saw this last week, there had been one or two Muslim organizations standing up and saying what these people are doing, whether it's in California, whether it's Daesh in the Middle East, does not represent Islam. It's a perversion of Islam. And I would applaud that. That's good. They should be standing up and say that. And the more that say that, the better. Another thing about what Donald does, I think, he's a dealer, right? He wrote the book, The Art of the Deal. And so what he's doing, he's sort of setting a position a bit away from where he actually wants to end up. So he's saying, let's stop all Muslims. And then when the firestorm erupts, then he can look gracious and magnanimous by sort of saying, well, okay, let's not all Muslims, and he can move to where he actually wanted to be. This is an art that a lot of the GOP, especially Boehner and McConnell, never learned, because they came out and said, well, this is what we want. And then the regressives, Dingy Harry, Pelosi, Obama, would say, no, we want this, which is, a few steps further. And they might meet in the middle, but the middle wasn't the middle that was anywhere near the middle. It was well over on the side that the left wanted all along anyway. And so all Trump is doing is just saying, well, I'm going to put my stake way over here, and then when I get pulled back, then I will end up where I wanted to be. Clever guy. That's another reason. Again, you may not agree with everything that he does or says, but he's a clever guy, and I think he will have the answers for America. Well, folks, I see it's time for the commercial break. I've been enjoying this sort of lead in, and after the break, I think it'll be time to say hi to some of the folks in the chat room. So I will be back in just a moment.
You can lose 10, 20, 30 pounds or more with Maximum Slim's first ever rapid weight loss guarantee. Today, you get Maximum Slim, an advanced fat and carb blocker, absolutely risk-free. The all-natural ingredients in Maximum Slim are a powerful weight loss combination. The Maximum Slim formula turns your body into a fat-burning furnace that supercharges your weight loss. Advanced fat and carb blocker stops the breakdown of sugar so your body doesn't store it as fat. Today, you'll get both of these products absolutely risk-free with no obligation. Only pay shipping. There are no expensive meal plans or exhausting DVDs. Just take Maximum Slim twice a day. It's fast, simple, and now it's guaranteed. Look, you can start losing weight today or not. Go back to your high school days and wear your favorite jeans again. Guaranteed. Call now and get both weight loss formulas free. Call 800-451-0228. 800-451-0228. That's 800-451-0228.
Doc, you gotta give it to me straight.
All right.
'Cause I'm dying here. I mean, take a look at this letter from the IRS.
Oh, my.
This is killing me, Doc. I tell you, it's killing me.
Cheer up, my friend.
Huh?
The tax doctor is here. My diagnosis tells me that you're going to be just fine.
Really?
The tax doctor will not rest until we find you the best possible tax settlement.
Really, Doc?
Guaranteed.
If the IRS claims you owe them $10,000 or more in business or personal back taxes, call a tax doctor right now. We could save you up to 75% if you qualify. Guaranteed or you pay nothing. Call right now for free details.
800-917-8546. 800-917-8546. 800-917-8546. That's 800-917-8546.
This is Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio, coming to you live via the internet, via rebroadcast on WRSDB, the Red State Talk Radio Network, or from the recordings at archives.patrickcomelately.us. And this is Stefan, your Patrick Come Lately, welcoming you back into the second segment of the show. Want to say hi to Rex or Edward and Mary, who are live in the chat room right now. If you are listening live, click on the little speech button in the the Spreaker box there, and it will take you to the chat room. We're having an interesting little discussion. Edward Rex is sort of, I think, neutral on Trump, but might lean a bit more towards him. Mary, I know, doesn't particularly like him, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. At the end of the line, we will find out. Will he make it? He's still leading in a lot of polls, although Ted Cruz seems to have surpassed him in Iowa. Could be interesting what happens there, but we're still, still quite a number of days out, so we'll see what happens. But as I said, everybody's entitled to their opinion. This is a free country, and we are still allowed to talk freely to a certain extent, although I'm going to be talking about some attempts to limit that, at least if I get time, because that intro that I had I thought was going to be a lot shorter and turned out to be a lot longer. Anyway, so nice to see you, Rex. Nice to see you, Mary. And I do want to say, Rex mentioned one thing. I didn't realize that it was over a month since he lost. Well, we lost his wife, Marcia. Time flies, doesn't it, Rex? So I'm glad you got through this month. I know it's been difficult for you, and I hope that the beers helped a little bit. Thanks for the nice little things you said about them. Just my little fun thing. I'm not quite ready to open a brewery yet, but I'm churning out quite a bit of stuff for myself. Just started with something that was a recipe I found for the lady that it was in a book that wrote the book, calls them spirited sodas. So basically sodas that are sparkling drinks made with sugar, no hops, so it's not a beer, but it is fermented, so it does have alcohol in it, and I'm gonna see how that turns out. So it's a different thing. So anyway. And Rex says, send more beer. You know what I'd rather do? I'd rather bring a case with me when I go to Vegas. I have to. I still have that coupon for some gun training out in the desert there, and so I still have to come see you in Vegas, Rex. Anyway, enough of the private things. Let's get on here with Trump that we were talking about, and I want to say one thing. I found some information that somebody put out on the internet saying how Trump could legally justify this Muslim ban, this temporary Muslim ban that he's been putting about. Right? So everybody's up in fire and saying, oh, well, it's unconstitutional, it's illegal. But actually, it's not. It is 100% legal under the Immigration and Nationality Act. That act gives the president authorities to suspend the entry of any and all aliens deemed detrimental to U.S. interests. Now, is Daesh, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram smuggling people in with refugees? Are those people detrimental to U.S. interests? I would think so. Look what happened in California. So the act actually says, whenever the president finds that the entry of any aliens or of any class of aliens into the United States would be detrimental to the interests of the United States, he may, by proclamation, and for such period as he shall deem necessary, suspend the entry of all aliens or any class of aliens as immigrants or non-immigrants, or impose on the entry of aliens any restrictions he may deem to be appropriate. Any restrictions. So is asking them what their political, religious leanings are. Is that maybe one of the restrictions? Right? So in his statement, he said, until we are able to determine and understand this problem and the dangerous threat it poses, our country cannot be the victims of horrendous attacks by people that believe only in jihad and have no sense of reason or respect for human life. It's part of Trump's statement. If you look at it closely, what he's saying is right. I mean, the GOP was saying, yes, we need to stop the Syrian refugees. The GOP agreed with that. We got most of the GOP actually at one point saying, yeah, well, maybe we should do that. And then he came out and said, well, why stop at the Syrian refugees? Why not look at all the Middle East and just say, folks, if we can't trust you, we can't bring you in. That is what the commander-in-chief is supposed to do, defend this country. That is his number one priority. Not to be humanitarian. Yes, we are a very humanitarian people. We do a lot of charity. We do a lot for charity. We give a lot to charity. We're probably the most humanitarian country in the world. But firstly, we have to defend our own. Because if we don't do that, there won't be any people left to be humanitarian, because then we'll get to a situation that we have Sharia law in this country and people being thrown off buildings, burnt alive, drowned, and whatever. Do we want that? No, we don't. So I think the left are bamboozling us, to be honest. They're claiming that being against Muslims or allowing them in has something to do with religious freedom. No, it doesn't. Because they're conveniently overlooking the fact that Islam has a religious and a political aspect. Think especially of Sharia law. That's not really religious, that's political. Law is political, has not that much to do with religion. Let's compare that to Judaism, right? The Jews, they have religious laws, but they do not seek to impose them on others outside of the faith. Quite happy if you say, this is the way I want to live for me, but not on other people. I mean, it's the same thing that I've had in on projects where we've had Muslims being involved. They go for Friday prayers. That's a different break than we have. It's often in the time, in office hours, but we allow for that. But we also have where we say, well, we're going to have a little bit of a get together. There may be alcohol served there, and they refuse to come if they're more extreme because there's alcohol there. Well, I understand that the Quran has a prohibition on alcohol, but I've also worked with Mormons who also don't drink alcohol or sodas or coffee, tea, and they just came to the parties and drank orange juice or apple juice. So, you can be accommodating or you can be an a-hole. And I think, imposing something like Sharia law on everyone by force if necessary, that's not religious, that's political. And for years, we never allowed communists in because they went against our political system. And I think that we can say Islam, if we disregard the religious tenets, but we can say the political tenets also go against our values. And therefore, very good reason to keep these people out of the country. I wonder, is anybody in Washington listening? Is anybody on Trump's campaign listening? Maybe you've got some arguments there. Or maybe somebody with a friend on a terrestrial station that has a slot looking for someone to run a program. Let me know. Okay, folks. It looks like it's time for a break. So let's do that. And I think maybe a little bit of music so we can kind of calm down a bit. And let's go here. The break will start right now.
Patriot come lately. British by birth. American by choice. Just like the Founding Fathers. The voice of the conservative resistance.
Every day, millions of Americans grow more concerned about the future of our great nation. The truth is, over the last century, a small but powerful collectivist movement known as progressivism has debased our politics, our culture, and our currency. We're just a small step from falling into 1,000 years of darkness, as Ronald Reagan warned. Friend, this is Pat Boone with an important free offer on a hot new book called The Great Withdrawal by Craig Smith and Lowell Ponte. This new book explains how we, the people, can end this fatal detour into big government and get back on the path of faith and freedom charted by our founders. Call now for a free copy of the hot new book called The Great Withdrawal.
Call now for your free copy. 800-978-3901. 800-978-3901. 800-978-3901. That's 800-978-3901.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS that you can't pay? Call now for immediate help. At the Tax Relief Line, we help people just like you. If you take on the IRS alone, you could be facing levies, liens, even wage garnishments, personal or business tax issues. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, call now and see if you can pay less. They can freeze your bank accounts, even garnish your wages. Call the Tax Relief Line now for immediate help. Our expert team of tax professionals will negotiate your tax problem and deal with the IRS for you. If the IRS is threatening you with levies, wage garnishments, or seizing your assets, call now and see if you can pay the IRS less.
888-789-5043. 888-789-5043. 888-789-5043. 888-789-5043.
This is Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio, keeping the spirit of America alive, a proud member of the Red State Talk Radio Network. Okay, folks, we're into the second half of the show. This is Stefan, your Patrick Come Lately. Just a reminder, please tell your friends about the show. We're coming up to the election, and I try to use this show to educate you. Occasionally, there's maybe a little bit of entertainment in it, but really my main objective is to bring things to your attention, hopefully good things about good candidates, and unfortunately, so many bad things about the left. I mean, just show after show after show. I try to be positive, but the left just has this tremendous thing of hypocrisy and lying and this and that, the other. I just can't help but share that with you, so that hopefully you will share it with the people you know. And it's not so much the people who we know are going to vote for conservative or maybe just plain Republican candidates, but it's those people in the middle that we want to catch and just point out to them how bad these people are. And so before I go on to the next topic, though, let's have a little bit of entertainment. Another song. I've played this one before, but I think it's a great one. And of course, what I like about it is that it is a sort of an anthem of the left that is now being twisted round, especially when you listen to the words, to be against our regressive friends. Imagine there's no liberals. It's easy if you try. No traitors among us who push common sense aside. Imagine all the liberals, that they are gone away. Ooh, imagine there's no Hillary. It isn't hard to do. no Nancy Pelosi, no Cindy Sheehan too. Imagine all the liberals have moved to Canada. Ooh. You may say I'm a hater for not liking liberal scum. It's because they live in La La Land with their head stuck up their bum. Imagine no mainstream media. I wonder if you can. No New York Times or CBS. No need for CNN. Imagine all the liberals sailing out to sea. Ooh. You may say I'm a hater for not liking liberal scum. It's because they live in La La Land with their heads stuck up their bum. Okay, folks, that was Imagine There's No Liberals. Mary asked who does this song. Is it Edward Daly? I have to look back. I've been playing this for so long. I do normally like to mention who the singer is and where you can get the song because I want to support them. But I've had this one such a long time. To be honest, I can't remember who sent that to me, who allowed me to play it. It's way, way back. But anyway, nice song, like I said, using that anthem of the left, but with some very nice lyrics. Okay, folks. Another topic, and again, this is another one of the topics that's kind of connected with California. But one of the things that struck me, the attack happened last Wednesday, so it was, the day after the show. It was very soon after the show. But since then, the regime has been doubling down on their attempts, basically to force us to accept Islam, or Islamic refugees, or, trying to say that a radical extremist Islam doesn't exist. And if they are radicals, then they're not Islamic. Well, and they're just forcing it down our throat, whether we like it or not. Did you notice that where on other occasions Khalif Hussein is very quick to jump to judgment on a topic, as soon as it has something related to Muslim extremists, he's quiet. He takes his time to mull over his response, and then most occasions he comes out with some weak little speech. This week, after the most serious terrorist attack since 9/11, he did it again. Now let's think about that, right? 9/11 is over 10 years ago. This is the most serious attack since then, and it happened on his watch. It didn't happen when George Bush was president, and much as I don't like what George Bush did, I wasn't all that keen on the Patriot Act. I wasn't keen on all the money that he gave away in terms of, the bank bailouts and everything. But he kept us safe. So now when we had this attack, the worst attack since 9/11, he has an address from the Oval Office. He spends more time lecturing us against thinking anything bad about Muslims. He spends more time lecturing us about us wanting to hold on to our guns, telling us why he thinks we shouldn't be able to do that. and very little time being the comforter-in-chief that he was supposed to be. You can say what you like, that was one thing that George Bush did well. At the same time, and it isn't just him, it permeates that whole den of thieves in the White House and especially the regressives in Washington, and it actually washes over a little bit to the GOP, but especially the left wing in Washington at the moment. Look at the Attorney General. A day after or 2 days after the Californian horror, at a meeting of Muslims, she said that her greatest fear is that people will say bad things about Muslims, and she's threatening to prosecute as hate speech anything negative that you say about Muslims. Jawohl, mein Führer. Yes, this is just like the Nazis in the 1930s. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And think about it. America spiraled down in just a few years. You know, not even all of Obama's reign, but the last few years, last 2, 3, 4 years, has spiraled down to become as much afraid of standing up to extremism as in Europe. And I've talked about how, you know, it happens in Europe first and then comes here. It took a lot longer in Europe. This is like somebody's got pedal to the metal and just bringing all this stuff in. I mean, it's unbelievable. Now, as we go forward, more and more is coming out that this was a very carefully planned attack. And some of the things that are coming out now, that members of the family are a lot more complicit than they were trying to make us believe. Well, they're trying to make us believe that this guy was at the party, somebody said something nasty to him, and he came back for that reason. No, this was planned, right? They were talking about the Messianic Jew. It's a Jew who believes in Jesus Christ, that he'd goaded Farouk into this horrific act, but you don't build pipe bombs and then get goaded into it. Those pipe bombs were there for a reason. As I said earlier in the show, I don't understand this love affair of the left with Islam and Islamic extremists. Remember, Daesh throws gays off of buildings. Daesh is horrific in their treatment of women. Talk about a war on women. Why are the blind idiots just so blind? Why are they just that? All these useful idiots, all these left-wing, the millennials, everyone who supports the left, why don't they see this? I don't know. It's just regressive hypocrisy. I guess it must be part of their genes. Okay, folks, I hate to say it, but time is rushing on, and so another one of these commercials. Want to thank somebody who did call into one of the commercials, so we've had a little bit more support for the show come in last month. Very nice of you. My thanks for that. Here's some more commercials. I'll be back after the break.
The offer of a franchise can only be made through delivery of a franchise disclosure document. Imagine yourself being a leader in America's fastest growing demographic category. More than 10,000 people a day turn 65, and a large percentage are going to need a helping hand at home or in choosing the right assisted living community. Always Best Care is looking for people who've excelled at everything they've done, but they're seeking a new challenge. Always Best Care is one of the fastest growing companies in this explosive field. We're looking for 25 new franchisees to keep our booming business growing. We'll back you up with the strongest award-winning marketing program in the industry, and we'll provide the special training and support that's fueled our growth to prepare you for this great opportunity. All that's missing is you. Call Always Best Care toll-free at 1-800-643-7508. That's 1-800-643-7508. For Always Best Care, 1-800-643-7508. Call today.
Are you worried about losing your home to foreclosure? If you've been threatened with foreclosure or received legal papers from your bank, you have approximately 30 days to respond. If you do not respond, you could lose your home. You have rights. Act now to protect your rights. You can stay in your home. Many times you can even modify your loan. The bottom line is you can get past this, but you must act right now. Call National Foreclosure Defense right now at 800-296-3006, 800-296-3006. If you've been served by your bank and you're worried about losing your home to foreclosure, now is the time to fight back and save your home. Time is limited, so call right now. 800-296-3006, 800-296-3006. Call the professionals at National Foreclosure Defense right now. 800-296-3006.
If you're diabetic, this message could change your life. Is your blood sugar out of control even when you do all the right stuff? Are you afraid of diabetic blindness and the risk of amputation, as well as all those other side effects? Well, you should be. Is there anything that could help manage your blood sugar? Nobetes is a natural supplement that may quickly and dramatically lower your blood sugar.
My name is Bob Corder. I've been using Nobetes for about 3.5 to 4 months now. And in the first 3 months, I've actually lowered my blood sugars from 500s down to 139, and then it dropped to 88 to 93.
My name is Kirsten. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and while taking Nobetes, my blood sugar levels dropped from 295 to 115 in just 1 day.
The FDA hasn't evaluated these statements, and Nobetes isn't intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. But for many, it's helped drop their blood sugar. So if you've been evaluated with high blood sugar, don't delay. Evaluate Nobetes now. Call 800-551-8302 and get your free bottle. Just cover shipping and handling. Call 800-551-8302. That's 800-551-8302.
This is Patrick Come Lately Talk Radio, coming to you live via the internet, via rebroadcast on WRSDB, the Red State Talk Radio Network, or from the recordings at archives.patrickcomelately.us. Okay, folks, looks like we're into the final segment of the show. Time flies when you're having fun, and it will fly because when the show is over, I've got another half an hour, 3/4 of an hour of work to do. The project I'm on right now, we've got a bunch of people in India doing work for us, so this is a convenient time to talk to them because they're in the middle of their morning. Yeah, life is fun. Looking forward to getting retired, so we'll see. Anyway, new topic, folks. So, and this probably the final topic. Well, maybe I'll get in the second one, but one of the last topics for tonight's show. A bombshell revelation. Is this the smoking gun that we've been waiting for? In a series, in a release of emails that were requested through a FOIA request, an email was found that American military forces were actually available for a rescue operation not long after the U.S. diplomatic facility, consulate, whatever they call it, in Benghazi, Libya, came under attack by terrorists September 11th, 2012. This was according to an email to a former Secretary of State, one of her closest aides. It was sent at 7:19 p.m. Eastern Standard Time by the Department of Defense Chief of Staff at the time, Jeremy Bash, and it reads, "I tried you on the phone, but you were all in with S." And everybody presumes that's a reference to Clinton, the S standing obviously for the Secretary. After consulting with General Dempsey, General Ham, and the Joint Staff, we have identified the forces that could move to Benghazi. They are spinning up as we speak. They include A, and that has been redacted out of the email. They didn't say what it was. Assuming principals agree to deploy these elements, we will ask state to procure the approval from host nation. Please advise how you wish to convey that approval to us. And then the rest is redacted. Think about that, folks. All the time we've been told, oh, there wasn't time, we didn't have people. And now the Department of Defense is saying, we have identified the forces that could move to Benghazi. They are spinning up as we speak. That was at 7 p.m. Eastern, right? The first assault on the compound began at 9:40 p.m. in Libya time, which is 3 in the afternoon. So this is 4 hours later. But the second attack, the more deadly one, didn't start till 6 p.m. So this is just an hour after that attack, and they held out at that facility for a number of hours. They could have done something. Now, the House Select Committee on Benghazi, so that's our friend Trey Gowdy, has said that the panel does actually have an unredacted version of that email, so they know all about it. And they did interview that person, apparently. They also interviewed other people that were on that that received that email. And, for example, Jake Sullivan, who is, let me just have a look, who was on there, Clinton's deputy chief of staff, and Jake Sullivan will be appearing in front of the committee, unless he pleads the fifth, of course, because they all seem, think of all the things that went on, and all the pleading of the fifth that they did. It seems to be kind of a sickness that they have. Anyway, so they are going to, and others that were in that email chain are also going to be interviewed. So release of this email is going to be interesting to see whether or not the media pick it up or not. Hopefully it does reignite the debate. Why did the U.S. fail to respond militarily? There's a lot that they could have done. Gregory Hicks, the deputy chief of mission for the U.S. Embassy in Tripoli, said the 4 Americans might have been saved if we'd have been able to scramble a fighter or aircraft or 2 over Benghazi as quickly as possible. Because he believes there would not have been a mortar attack on the annex because the Libyans, the insurgents, would have split. They would have been scared to death that they would have had a laser pinpointed on them and then laser-guided bombs coming down. But we did not send an aircraft. We did not send troops. We did nothing. Who stopped it? Because now we know Department of Defense was ready to send people. So it must be the White House or the Secretary of State. One of those two, or both, are responsible for this, folks. We need to hang them out to dry. We need to find out who did this. I mean, this is just really bad. Will it happen? We can but keep our fingers crossed. Things, as I said, have been going bad, pedal to the metal. And that's because I think Obama and the left realized that this is their last chance because they've really screwed it up and they're going to get their asses booted in 2016. So they're going to do everything they can. But we have to make sure that that we hold responsible those who were responsible. And if we don't do that, then we are not good people. So, Anyway, folks, I see that we're getting close to the end of the show, so I'm going to have to start winding down. Once again, a final reminder, please come again next week. Please tell your friends to come join us and listen, or listen to the recordings. Recordings available at this address, radio.patriotcomelately.us, archives.patriotcomelately.us, and as well as that, you can also listen in on Red State Talk Radio or the 405 Media. The show is rebroadcast there. Go to the websites of those two networks to find out the timing of the rebroadcast. They do vary, and also other good hosts, other good shows to listen to at those two sites. Want to thank Mary and Rex for being in the chat room. Like I said, it's always nice to see someone is there listening. and it's time for me to start the music and say ta-ta for now, folks. Please join me next week, and God bless you all.
Thank you for listening to this edition of the Patrick Come Lately Show. Please take what you have learned and share it with friends and family. Better still, tell them about the show so they can listen too. Remember to support the advertisers on the show. It helps keep this show on the air, and I thank you for that. I'm looking forward to joining you on the next show. Until then, keep spreading our message. Goodbye, and God bless America.